Hello everybody and welcome to the Battle Brothers Council, the series where we share information and thoughts on the upcoming DLC Beasts and Exploration. In today's episode we are going to actually talk about two updates, as I feel they are both kind of a fan service. Maybe the most important thing is the tryout option. As you know, when you recruit new brothers, you don't know exactly how good or bad they are. You only know their background story as information. I like to call this the recruit roulette. I am probably the only person in the world who thinks this is actually fun. This sort of gambling was always fun in my opinion, and an extra little challenge at the beginning to make a terrible character useful. Of course, this will be very helpful at the late game where you usually hire someone, and if they're not talented enough in the needed skills, you just fire them immediately. This will be gone. Now you can try them out, see what they are about, and decide whether to actually hire them or just leave them be. Furthermore, you can absolutely just do the recruit roulette if you want to, so it's not like that thing is gone and you have to try them out before you hire them. So you can be just an idiot like me and go on with the recruit roulette. The second big change is the retreat overhaul. Especially in the early game, you have to pick your fights. This often means that you will need to retreat, which is a really tedious thing to do for turns upon turns upon turns with way too many characters. If you didn't do it and just clicked retreat, you suffered from wounds and magically teleported from the battlefield. Now that's gone. In the DLC, when you click on retreat, your brothers will automatically move to the edge of the map to retreat. They can make it without any wounds, but they can also just bite the dust. I personally like the idea because it is often less punishing in my opinion, although sitting through the entire thing will probably be just as monotonous and boring. Not to mention that losing a brother this way should be really annoying. Another small detail which is pretty fun is the end round button. Basically there are fights where you just sit around and wait for your enemy to move towards you, and instead of clicking end turn 12 times, now you get a button to click and it's done. Everybody just skip their turn. I'm a defensive player usually, so I actually like this, although not really important of a change, and I assume you would still see them actually skipping their turns. So again, it doesn't really buy you a lot of time, but it makes it a little bit more comfortable. Next up, there will be 23 new settlement situations. So the villages and towns will have a lot more stories going on, which is of course will be a nice little addition to the role-playing element. Settlements now rebuild their burned down attached locations, like an outlying farm for example. So they will need building materials, which means selling and hirement may change over the course of a campaign. I like this a lot. I don't think it was something we desperately needed, but more variety again just makes the campaign more fun in my opinion, and again the role-playing aspect will get something nice as well. Now moving to the second update, there will be more legendary locations. There's only 2 legendary locations right now in the game. This is the Black Monolith and the Goblin City. Now, however, the DLC will contain not 1, not 2, but 10 more wait for it, dairy locations. The maps will be 25% larger as usual, and there will be a lot to explore. Hence the name Beasts and Exploration. I will be 100% honest as usual. I am not particularly good at the game. I'm quite bad at the game as a matter of fact, and I usually enjoy the road to build up a strong company. And when it's done, I usually just start a new campaign and start building from scratch again. Now that means of course that I barely had these sort of huge battles like the Black Monolith or the Goblin City. I think as I stated earlier with different things, variety is great. I think this is awesome. I see a lot of really good, talented people playing these and barely having any challenges after a while. Think of this, a few black monoliths after one another should give them an acceptable challenge. So I welcome the new locations with open arms and the goat sacrifice the Darkle, and I can't wait to actually watch good players managing the new locations. All in all, I think the changes are good and was basically done to please the fans. I did not include things like the AI will improve. Well, we'll see how improved they are. You can recolor your things. It was stated in the original DLC announcement. So these small things that are promised but either not actual news or we have to wait to see them in action, I did not include in this. The only big change missing is to allow modding. I don't think the devs are going to grant that to people, but I can see that it's heavily requested. I personally don't mind if it's not modded. I would love to see what people come up with. I know the community, they would come up with a lot of great things, but I also feel like what we have is good enough for me, if it makes any sense to you. So while I would be eager to see what people come up with, I'm also just fine with what we have right now and what we about to have with this DLC as well. I don't think the devs will change their mind about it. We'll just have to wait and see. In the meantime, let me know what you think of these small new additions to the game. I can't wait to play the DLC, and hopefully you are just as excited as I am. Let me know what you think in the comments, and until next time, as brothers we go.